The FBI is investigating after 2 power stations were attacked by domestic terrorists in North Carolina, causing 40,000 customers to lose power.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie, how's it going?
Hello, I'm well.
Glad to hear it.
Been a true crime all the time kind of day.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I know we say that all the time. It's not like
Mm.
it's unusual, but
Some days I'm a little further down the rabbit hole than others, and
Mhm.
today I cannot tear myself away from some of the cases I've been researching. Wow.
There's some crazy, crazy shit going on in this world. That is for sure.
hmm
Yeah. Well, this is our Tuesday episode.
Yeah.
And we're going to kick it off, as we often do, with some WTF news.
It's not hard to find. So, what do you think should happen if you have an argument with your friend about your golf game? Any thoughts?
Maybe you throw a club. I've seen allegedly some men in our family do that occasionally.
Yeah, maybe step a club over their knee, or maybe,
Break the little
right?
pencil. I don't know.
Break the pencil,
Mhm.
run grab somebody's ball and throw it in the drink. I've seen that happen before too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Well, not in this guy's case. He did something a little different. This is Mark Wells from Biloxi. And Mark and another guy had an argument over a golf game that ended up in the parking lot of a casino, which, I guess there's kind of that cash me outside. How about that kind of a deal,
Sure.
in a parking lot. Mark he was not having it. He was not having it. So, can we say he bit off the other guy's nose to spite his face? I don't know. Can you say that?
I
He bit
mean,
off
you
his
could.
nose.
God damn. Yikes.
Not good. Yeah. Then he hopped in his Tesla and motored away. What?
What happened to the nose?
They don't know.
Oh no.
Mhm. That's
Oh,
kind of an ongoing problem. The nose was not recovered.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Oh, that's
The victim was
horrifying.
taken to the hospital to be treated. I don't know what you do when your nose is gone and they can't find it. So I'm not sure about that.
Oh, that's terrible. That's lifetime disfiguration. What
It
the?
is, which is
Ugh,
why, and Mark did eventually turn himself in, which is good, I guess.
I yeah,
But
mhm,
because it's a disfiguring facial injury, it's a hell of a charge.
I'll bet it is.
However, he was charged with felony mayhem, booked into the Hancock County Jail, where he immediately ponied up the required 10% of a $50,000 bond and walked out within the hour.
Oh,
Yeah,
mm.
I'm sure this is, you know. However, he faces up to 7 years if convicted.
I just feel so
Because,
bad for the victim. My God.
yeah, because it's a felony, of course. The state law defines as premeditated crime committed with the intent to kill, in which the suspect mutilates, disfigures, disables, or destroys someone's tongue, eye, lip, nose, limb, or other body part. That's the charge.
Oh, that is something's
Now,
not right with Mark.
right now, I
Uh,
don't know that you could call it intent to kill, but then again,
I don't know. Somebody could bleed out or get a
right?
horrific infection from that.
Who attacks someone with their teeth on their face?
I
I mean, the
tough to say.
gravity of that to me. I
Yeah,
mean, okay, you get in a fight over something, you both throw a couple of punches, maybe you do still go to jail. You shouldn't do that either, but biting off someone's nose?
that
What
is
in the
so
actual
brutal.
hell? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
So violent, so brutal, and the fact that they don't know where the nose went.
that's just gross.
Mark, did you
Just
eat that nose? For God's sake.
right. That my first thought is he swallowed it.
Maybe he did.
Oh, that's
In a
gross.
fit of rage.
I don't know, but that dude needs to go away. He should not be in society at all.
Mhm.
If he can just do that out of anger over a golf game, my
Mhm.
God.
That was my thought. Does this guy have priors? We don't know. How does he
Yeah,
treat his family? Does he have an
right,
ex-wife that would like to say a few things like, "What the hell? Who is this person who does things
right.
like that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. Whew.
Ick. Ick, ick, ick.
This is
Yep.
why stopping and counting to 10 before taking any action is really important.
It's
You
true.
can think for a moment about the consequences of
Mhm.
biting off someone else's nose. What?
Mhm.
Oh, that's awful.
What did our parents always warn us? Beware of the company you keep. I don't think they warned us to beware of hanging out with somebody who may possibly bite off your nose. But,
Not
at the end of
really
the
a
day, don't hang out
consideration
with
I've
Mark.
ever had. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, yeah, don't hang out with Mark. Wow.
if you value your limbs at all. Yeah.
Or your
So,
nose.
or your
Mhm.
nose. What's
Anything
next?
else.
Gonna go straight Mike Tyson on you? We don't know.
Right. Like, yeah. Whew.
Yep. Not cool.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the last guy that chowed down on somebody's face was headed to trial last week and they found him incompetent, probably
Yes.
permanently.
hmm Yes, he took an insanity plea.
Judging by the amount of money in Mark's pocket, I'm doubting that'll be the case for him.
Probably not. If he could just bond himself out immediately.
Yep.
Oh, that's really unfortunate.
Yep. So, ick. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to you for our main case.
Mhm. So you probably have heard by now that there was a domestic terror attack on two um, power substations
Hmm.
in North Carolina last Saturday. These power stations were shot up with a gun or guns,
Hmm.
which I gotta say, that's kind of a weird way to disable a power station. Usually it's an explosion or something, right? No, they
Right.
shot them up, knocked out power to 40,000 people.
Yeah.
That power, there are still like 35,000 people without power now on Monday, and this was Saturday. They
Oh.
think it will be Thursday before they have it all back because the
And this
damage
is
is
where
so
at?
extensive. It's in North Carolina.
Okay. So it's not particularly cold probably there. Well, we don't know that.
No,
It
it's
could
supposed
be.
to get 40 tonight, and
Okay.
40 is about the lowest it's going to get, it sounds like. This is in central North Carolina. It's Moore County.
I mean, that's
North,
still cold. It's
it
not
is.
freezing, luckily, but that's still cold.
It is.
Oh,
It's still cold. And then you have um, the hospitals that are affected, people at home who use oxygen or other,
sure.
life-saving things that have to be plugged
Yeah.
in. It is a huge, huge deal.
Mm-mm,
And
not good.
the FBI is assisting the Moore County Sheriff's Department with this. And I find one of the things I find really interesting about it is that they're not quite ready to call it domestic terrorism. I called it domestic terrorism because it is.
Right.
You can't be shooting up power substations like that. Like you can't
Right.
even. It immediately caused 4 car accidents
Oh, no.
because all the lights went off everywhere.
Sure. Everything.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
there's now.
terrible.
Yeah, and then you think about what the medical people who were in surgery at the time.
Right.
Because there probably were emergency surgeries going on.
Absolutely. So all kinds
So
of things that disrupted.
tons of stuff, and that it's not an easy fix. Like it's not
Right.
just transfer it to a different substation or whatever. No, they can't.
Sure.
It is millions of dollars in damages,
Oh,
and it is a huge undertaking to repair the damage that has
sure.
been done. So, currently, authorities have no suspects.
Mhm.
There's been a rumor running around on social media that this was in retaliation against a drag show that was happening. Because, of course, this
Right.
is the big concern we have in the U.S. right now are drag shows. I mean, just
Mhm.
if you think
It's
that's actually the case, just shut the fuck up and get out of our chat now. Because no. But let me tell you kind of
Why is
where
it
that
so hard to just not go to a drag show?
right. If you don't like
I
drag, just
don't
don't
get
go.
it.
Just don't go. But let me tell you where this came from. And this is unsubstantiated. The sheriff's office said they are investigating it, but we don't know if this really had anything to do with the drag shows or
Well,
not.
let's be fair. We don't know if we'll ever get to know if
Right.
that's the case.
We may not. So there was a drag show at the Sunrise Theater in downtown Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Mhm.
And there earlier in the day there were protesters outside of that theater
Mhm.
protesting against this drag show.
Mhm.
So the drag show started at 7, and that's about the time the power went out. Like it went out
Mhm.
right just a few minutes after.
Mhm.
So this kind of all came from a person named Emily Grace Rainey, who is an outspoken opponent of drag and the drag show.
Oh, wow.
She posted an invitation on her Facebook page to the protest after the power went out. She let's see. Oh, she posted on Facebook, "The power is out in Moore County and I know why." So people took that to mean that she
Mhm.
knows who did this or why or whatever. It's sounding more like she thinks that this was God's response of turning off the
Oh
lights.
gosh.
But it certainly did result in her having a pretty um, significant conversation with the police. Like,
Mhm.
why did you say that? What do
Yeah.
you know? Um, and now, they're saying that this is false, that she didn't know anything about it. Now, but this is gross because police officers went there to talk to her.
Mhm.
They interviewed her and they had a word of prayer with her and discovered that it turned out to be nothing.
Oh, for the
Why
love.
why are
What?
the police having a word of prayer with this hateful human? I don't even
Or
know.
anyone ever?
Yeah,
Ew.
gross, gross, gross. So we don't know if that was the reason. We don't know what the reason is.
We don't
Um,
know, but willfully knocking out the power,
you're risking people's
you're
lives,
risking people's lives right and left.
right?
Yeah.
And 40,000 people and so much
Mhm.
damage that it's going to take them 5 days to get the power back on. Like, this is really serious.
Yeah.
The headliner at the drag show, her name is Naomi Dix,
It's
and
what? Say
she
it
had
again.
Naomi Dix.
Okay.
These drag queens, they have clever names.
They always do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Naomi asked everyone in the crowd at the drag show to turn on their phone flashlights to light up the room. And
Mhm.
then they sang Halo by Beyonce, and they actually kind of kept the drag show going till about 9 o'clock doing that.
Good.
It turns out it was a full house and people had a great time because that is what it's like to go to a drag show. They
That's
are a
right.
lot of fun and they
Mhm.
are not harming anyone. And
No.
if you don't like it, just don't go. I'm not a big monster truck enthusiast, so I just don't go to those things. I
What?
have no need to like shoot up power stations over it.
Or picket them.
Yeah,
I saw some of the footage of the, protesters earlier in the day,
yeah,
and it was aggressive.
very.
This woman on a horn screaming,
Hmm.
"We won't back down! We won't back down!"
From
So?
what? You don't
From
even have
what?
to go, you dumb bitch. Quit it with this
I
shit.
just don't get it. I can understand having things that your religion doesn't subscribe to. I can understand having
Sure.
things that you don't go to because that doesn't fit into your values or whatever you want to consider those things. That's fine. No one says you have to. But I
No.
don't understand this sudden push lately to try to force people to not do things that you don't want to do.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
get it. I
It's
also don't understand how in the US people can behave that way and do that in the name of so-called freedom.
right. What kind of freedom is that? But it's this idea that we're a Christian nation, which we aren't and never were. Please read some history.
Well, and don't
And
tread on me, but don't worry, I will
but I'm going
definitely
to tread
tread
on
on
you.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's such
I do
shit.
not get it.
So, they are looking into, because the timing around this attack on the power stations it is suspect, that it
Yeah,
might have had something to do with it, but we don't know for sure. So if you've been seeing a lot on social media saying that that is exactly what it was about, we don't actually know.
right.
The police don't know, but they are looking into that. And, are there other reasons for someone to go shoot up a couple of substations? We don't know if this was one person or if it was multiple people. We don't know if it was a group, if the Proud Boys or someone like that did it. We don't know any of those things yet,
Right.
but it is
I'll tell you
scary.
what we do know, though. They need to find who did that and
Yeah.
prosecute the hell out of them to send a really
Yes.
strong message to everyone else across the country that this ain't it.
No.
Do you want to protest? Do you want to make your voice heard? Fine. This isn't the way to do it
No.
because this is really serious. This
It is.
puts so many lives at risk.
It does. So unnecessarily. And so, I mean, they have no idea who they impacted, you know?
Exactly.
Ye-
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wanted to talk about this because this is domestic terrorism.
Yeah, it is.
And it's been a fear in the US for a long time that if,
Mm-hmm.
somebody wanted to hit us really hard, whether it's someone from within our country or without,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we're our own worst enemy most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
that attacks on our power grid could have
Yeah.
horrendously debilitating effects.
Mm-hmm.
So of course there are houses running on generators. We know about
Yeah.
that. We have generators. We'd be
Mm-hmm.
prepared. There are some restaurants running on um, generators. They've opened up a shelter for people to go to if they need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
One restaurant in particular is serving food,
Mm-hmm.
and people can come in and charge their phone and get something to
Mm-hmm.
eat, and you know
Yeah.
because you can't cook. I mean, I
Right.
guess we could because we have propane.
Mm-hmm.
As you
I've
as
always
you
thought if
do,
we had like long-term power outages, I'd probably just live in my camper for a little while.
right?
'Cause that would be much easier to, you know,
Yeah.
to maintain the heat, the food situation, all that would be
Mhm.
easier. But I mean, not everyone has that luxury, of course, you know.
Right, right. I
The
mean, if
the
this had
thing
happened in
that
a
scares
colder
me the most in
place,
these cases are the elderly.
yes, the elderly living alone that are
Mhm.
maybe on oxygen,
Mhm.
you know, I it's just
Mhm.
it's just unfathomable to me that someone would go to go to these lengths to
Yep.
harm other people,
Yep.
to harm total strangers that they do not know and have no idea
Mhm.
what the impact would be.
Right. Well, it's bad enough when the power grid goes down due to a natural disaster,
Right.
but for it to be done on purpose, yikes.
Yeah, well, and I mean, they shot up 2 substations, and that's 40,000 customers.
Yeah.
I mean, what if they shot up more than that?
Right.
It's scary
Well, and when they
because
say that 40,000 customers, that's just 40,000 subscribers. It's not
right,
the
it's not the
actual
actual
number of
number of
people.
people.
That's much, much higher.
Mhm.
Oh dear. Well, I hope that they're taking good care of their neighbors and that everybody will be okay.
You
And
know, it
boy, I
appears
hope
that
they catch them.
yeah, yes, me too. It does appear that people are really coming together and, bringing in things to the shelter that they
Mhm.
can cook and, making sure that people are getting fed and making sure that, people have what they need. But it is true that the elderly and disabled people, that's where I get really concerned because
Mhm.
what if they can't go anywhere? One woman was unable to leave her house because she has an electric garage door opener and didn't have a way to open her garage door.
Oh.
So a neighbor came and gave her a ride to shelter.
Mhm.
So there's some great things happening, but there are
Mhm.
always going to be people that fall through the cracks in these situations
Oh,
too.
absolutely. Without a
There
doubt.
will there
Yeah.
will be deaths.
Oh, yeah.
By the time it's all said and done, there will be deaths.
Mhm.
There were already injuries in 4 different car accidents.
Mhm.
There's a curfew now from like
Mhm.
9 p.m. to 5 a.m. because it is pitch black.
Yeah.
There are no traffic lights. I guess the cities are out putting up stop signs where traffic lights
Mhm.
should be so that there are four-way stops. And we take electricity for granted very much. I know we all
Right.
do because it's just
Mhm.
always there. And you think about if it wasn't always there, how many
Mhm.
things it would change.
Yeah.
All of your food in your freezer and your fridge spoils.
Yep.
and you can't do
Gone.
anything about that.
Mhm.
How wasteful it is. And um, I can't, if it was the sheriff or if it was the governor, somebody was talking about how like the restaurants in this community are still struggling to rebound from COVID,
Sure.
and now this is another blow to them.
Absolutely.
And
Because all of their food will spoil too. Hopefully
yeah,
they can those that have enough power can at least cook theirs up and serve it before it's all gone, and
hmm
hopefully their insurance will pay for it, but
well, and I read that there are pharmacies that are like reaching
oh,
out and utilizing refrigeration at people's
mhm.
houses who have generators, because all of the refrigerated medications like
Sure.
insulin, for
Insulin.
example,
Yeah.
will go bad.
Mhm. Oh, no.
Yeah. So it's so much worse, I think, than we even know right now.
Mhm.
It's an incredibly terrible thing to do
Mhm.
to your community. So yeah, I hope
By
they
God, I
find
hope
whoever
they
did
catch
this,
them.
and
Yep.
yeah, they
Prosecute
deserve
the hell out of them.
heavy consequences for this.
Mhm.
I mean, it could result in murder charges, you know, or at least manslaughter
At least
charges. If
manslaughter
somebody
charges, sure.
dies because their oxygen went out or their
Mhm.
ventilator went out, they're working on making sure there's transportation for people who get dialysis to be
Yeah.
able to get into a hospital where they can get their dialysis, like
Mhm.
life-saving stuff
Yeah.
that we normally take for granted the access to.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can on people who have medically fragile children,
Yeah.
that are on various kinds of, electrical supported devices and things to keep them alive,
Right. Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah, and
And
what
and
if you don't
then
have a generator? And so you don't have a way to keep that person breathing or,
right.
you know?
Well, and COVID is surging in a lot of places, and now we're gonna
Mhm.
stuff all of these people in shelters together.
Right.
There's just a lot, and the flu as well. I mean, there's just so many
Mhm.
reasons why, oh gosh. Well, my heart really goes out to all of them. I really hope they can all be okay.
Yes, me too. And I am very curious to see, was this in fact a hate crime?
Mhm,
Was it directed at shutting down that particular drag show? And if it was, how ridiculous and bullshit that
mhm,
is. I'm so tired of all of this hateful crap and the
mhm.
constant infringing of other people's values on everyone
Yeah.
else as though we have to do whatever they all say. So
Mhm.
sick of it.
Needs to stop.
Yeah, it does. So we'll keep you updated on this situation, but they do think sometime Thursday there will be power back for everybody in those communities, but that's
Mhm.
a few days away still.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, Katie, I know you have a little creepy crime for us.
I really do. When we were young women just getting our driver's licenses, there was always conversations about to be aware that occasionally bad guys may impersonate police officers, and
Yes.
that you should be very aware of that and make
Mhm.
that if you're pulled over, or if someone approaches you and is claiming to be an officer, that you ask to see their badge, their ID, things like that, just to be sure,
Mhm.
for good reason.
You can even call dispatch and say, a car has pulled me over and this is their license plate. Is this really a police officer?
Or if you're unsure and they're trying to pull you over, to just drive to the police
Right.
station
Yeah.
and let them pull you over there.
Mhm.
There's lots of conversations about that, and I'm sure most of you have heard them. Well, this gentleman right here lives in Florida. His name is Jeremy DeWitt, and Jeremy just cannot quit impersonating police.
Oh.
As in, he's been arrested for it. It looks like 5 times now.
And
He's
how is he
also
still out on the street, still doing it?
good question considering that he is a registered sex offender.
Ooh.
So he has been in jail. He's been in prison multiple times, and
Mhm.
he was just released from prison a few months ago and was yet again picked up. Why? Well, he has a motorcycle that he has outfitted like a police car or like a police motorcycle with lights,
Mhm.
sirens, the whole 9 yards.
Mm,
And he uses it for his business
business.
of and this is kind of legit, except for that he's not legit, to as an escort for funeral processionals.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe this is how it is in Florida. Here in Idaho, if you want a funeral processional from the funeral home or the church to the cemetery, you have to pay the police to do so.
Right.
And it's, gosh, I think it was around $300 to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come and lead the processional and guide the traffic and, help you do that thing. But
Right.
it looks to me like in Florida, maybe you pay a private company to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly he has a company that does that. But he's not just doing that. He's also running around on his motorcycle, dressed as a police officer, carrying weapons, and puffing himself up, marching around like he is a police officer. And there have been multiple complaints about him pretending to be a police officer. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really scary considering that he is a convicted sex offender and that people may not know any otherwise.
Right.
A lot of people will very blindly trust police as just, an authority figure. Frankly, I probably would too, except for this guy seems like kind of a dumbass. So maybe not. But, the, the thought of him being able to use that bike to pull over young women,
Yeah. That's
uh,
terrifying.
yeah, or to do any other thing, it is terrifying. And I think it's just not that he's actually done those things. We don't have proof that he has, but um,
But he is a registered sex offender. The potential is there.
hmm running around like this. And apparently, he had a video on his YouTube channel, because he thinks he's a little celebrity, uh, doing the cop thing. And he claims it's because he was told to take the video down and he wouldn't. And the police are like, no, it's because you're pretending to be a cop and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't retaliation or anything, bud. This is you're breaking the law.
Right.
We're not going to have it. Anyway, I just think it's a good reminder to all of us and
Mm-hmm.
to remind all of our youngins in our world, that
Right.
these things happen. And you should be very aware that people sometimes claim to be police when they aren't in order to
Yeah.
commit crimes. And like Kristi said, you can always call dispatch and verify that this person is legit. You
Mm-hmm.
can always ask for their business card. They should
Mm-hmm.
always have a business card on them that they can provide you with that
Yeah.
has their badge number on it, that has their supervisor's name on it, so that you can verify those things.
Right.
You have every right to ask questions,
You do.
and any legitimate police officer will immediately and gladly hand you over those things because they know that that is your right. And they would much rather you verify their legitimacy than have a crime committed against you by someone who isn't actually an officer.
Right.
So know your rights and exercise them if you feel like you need to. Don't just take blind authority and just let them
Yeah.
run with you. Ask questions, know what you're doing, know what they're doing. There's not a thing wrong with that at all.
No. Well, and if it feels off, trust your gut.
Yeah.
If something feels weird about it, definitely. I don't know how he's getting away with having those lights on that motorcycle. It's
Well, he's
illegal to have
not.
lights
He's
like that.
going to jail again. Yeah.
Oh, good. And they need to take that motorcycle away.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Mhm. For sure. All righty. Well, that's what I've got.
All right. Well, this has been our Tuesday episode. We'll be back on Wednesday with another episode, as well as our Wednesday night case updates at 7 p.m. Mountain. That's a live stream on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. We did release for our Monday episode a Daybell case update. We do those
Mhm.
about every 6 months, give you an idea of what's, kind of a what's been going on. Where do we stand now in the Daybell Vallow murder case?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to keep track of. So
Mhm.
we did do that. So if you follow that case, you're going to want to watch for that because
Yeah.
it's wackadoodle as usual.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. It really does help us to grow. Check us out on
Mhm.
Patreon. We're True Crime Squad on Patreon, and For a nominal fee, you can support us and get some extra content every month. And, just sharing, if you like what we do, if you like an episode you see of ours, sharing it with people who would like that. All of it helps us to grow, and we appreciate that so much. Well, we are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.